Alright, so once we have defined the relationships between all of the activities, and we also have defined the duration on all of the activities, so let's go back to the table view. Okay, and so we have the names of the activities, we have the duration, and we also have the relationships between all of the activities. The next thing that we will do is to define the schedule for this small example. So in order to define the schedule, you can press F9 on Windows, or you can simply go to tools and click here on schedule. Okay, so we are going to add or to define the schedule for our project. Okay, one important thing before we can define the schedule for this project is to select the current data date. Now the current data date is the date that would be the first day of execution for your project. So if today is 7th of July, but your project is going to start its execution on 1st of August, so you should select 1st of August as the data date, okay, or whatever date you want to start your project on. So you select the appropriate data date, and once you will press the schedule button, the project schedule will be developed as assuming that your project will start on 1st of August. So we'll just press, and you can see here project start and finish dates. So all of the information is here. Now again, with to develop your schedule, you have to be careful with your calendar as well, because all of these dates will be developed by considering all of your calendar settings. For example, what are your weekends, what are your holidays, all the other information. Okay, so that is how we can create the schedule for this project. Okay, another important thing, if you may be looking into these columns. So I have activity ID, name, status, subcontractor, and so on. Now you can modify all of these columns. Okay, so you can add and remove all of these columns. You don't need to look into some of the columns at this phase of the project, so you can very easily modify. So if you just right click anywhere, and if you click on columns, so you will see all of the columns which I have selected. Again, at this stage of the project, I don't need all of these columns. I need very limited columns, which would just give me the basic information about my project. So you can explore all of these columns. So you will see under the available options, under the cost section, we have so many columns available: dates, duration, general, and so on. So again, based on your needs, you can remove some of these columns, you can add some of the columns from the left side into the right side. So you can very easily modify and add or remove the columns that you want to view. Okay, so once you have created the schedule, so if we go back to our activity network, so you will see that the schedule has been created, and we have the same diagram, but what we can see now is that some of the arrows, they are in red color, some of the arrows are in black color. So it's a very small example. Now what does it mean? It simply means that the activities which are having red arrow, basically these activities are the critical activities, which means these activities should not be delayed. If you will delay these activities, your whole project will be delayed. So that is what it means with this color in your network diagram. But you can see that which activity is critical, which one is non-critical in your columns as well, or in some other type of screen as well. But this is what currently we can see here. If we go back to the Gantt chart, so we can see now, because we have created the schedule for this project, so we can see that we have activity A, then we have activity B. After that we will be doing activity C and D in parallel. C will take little bit less time than activity D, and once both of these activities will be finished, then you will do your last activity, which would be activity E. So that is what we can see in the Gantt chart as well. So that is like a quick view and on the top you can see your days. You can change the settings. Instead of days you can go for weeks, or you can change any time scale. So if we go back to the table view, so again we are back here with all the previous information. Okay, so once you have developed your schedule excuse me, and let's say you want to finalize this schedule, you just want to move on with this schedule. So again, in this video we are not focusing on budget or expenses or resources. We are just focusing on the schedule itself. So once the schedule is done, the last step you will do to finalize your schedule is to make the baseline for this schedule. So in order to do that, you will go to project, and then you will click here on maintain baseline. So maintain baseline will add a new baseline in your system. So you'll click on the add button and just select the first option. So the current project, whatever we just worked on, will be saved as the baseline for this existing project, and just click OK. So you have B1 as your first baseline, and then close this window. So for this project we have one baseline, which is B1. So once we have added a new baseline in the system, you need to assign or link that B1 with this current project. So how we can do that? Again, we will go back to project and we will click on assign baseline. So in the assign baseline, we will assign a baseline to this project. So this project is our current open project, and to this current open project we will assign B1. Okay, so that would be our project baseline. And you can also select the users baseline under the primary section. You can also select B1 as well. So the B1 or the baseline which we have just assigned will be linked with our current open project. So you just select B1 in both of these options and select OK. So that is the baseline part, which means later on, once we will start the execution of the project, all of the execution of this open project will be compared against B1. For example, we have mentioned here that activity A will take 4 days to finish, but once we will start the execution of the project, let's say activity A in reality took 6 days. So how we will know that this activity is 2 days behind or 2 days late? That is only once we will compare this project with B1, because in B1 also it is 4 days, and in the real execution we will say, okay, no, activity A took 6 days. So this current project will compare itself with B1. So that is what is the main purpose of having the baselines. So that is how we will add activities and schedule them and make the baseline. And in next videos we will see that how we can start the execution of the project, how we can compare things against the baseline, and lots of other options in coming videos. Thank you for watching.